When did a bad year-end bonus lead to mass quitting? Story 1. I worked nights at a regional warehouse where the GM swore our year-end performance bonus would be at least a week's pay if we hit accuracy and ship on time. We smoked the targets. Record December. Overtime banned because we were so efficient. January 3rd, they herd us into the break room. There's a banner. Celebrate gratitude. Instead of cash, each of us gets a $50 gift card to the company's own employee store, logo hoodies and stainless mugs, plus a slice of sheet cake. The GM does a little speech about how we're reinvesting. Someone asks if the gift card can be used toward forklift certification renewals. Great idea for next year, he says. Then HR passes out a bonus acknowledgement that includes a line about not discussing compensation on social media. That got laughs. 2 senior forklift drivers just silently hang their vests on a peg and walk out. Word spreads. A competitor across town is offering plus $2 an hour and an actual $600 cash bonus paid Friday. By lunch, 8 more guys are gone. The night lead hands me a Sharpie and says, "Write your name under whichever crew you want to be on. A, stay and train temps. B, go interview at 2 p.m. Half the board fills under B in 5 minutes. The loading dock backs up, trucks start idling, dispatch starts calling. The GM tries to salvage it by promising a retention bonus if we stick it out through quarter end. Someone asks how much. He says they'll finalize the framework. We were done. By end of the week, 37 out of 92 warehouse staff had resigned. 2 weeks later, the night shift closed. Best cake we ever ate. Story 2. My sister and I were both RNs at a nonprofit hospital that leaned hard on the mission talk. After 2 brutal COVID winters and a merger, admin promised a year-end bonus to honor extraordinary commitment. Rumor said $2,000. We get an invite to a gratitude huddle instead. The bonus is a wellness package, 3 free smoothies from the cafeteria, a month of a meditation app, discounted parking for quarter 1, and a branded fleece. Our charge nurse asks if night shift can at least get the smoothies during off hours. Facilities shrugs. Smoothie bar is closed after 6. People laugh. Then it turns to that quiet, dangerous kind of silence. The next morning, a travel agency sets up across the street at the coffee shop with a sandwich board. $20 per hour, more plus $4,000 completion bonus. HR sends an email calling travel contracts disruptive to continuity of care. 2 ICU veterans hand in notice the same hour. Anesthesiology loses 3 CRNAs by Friday. Admin schedules a town hall. The CFO talks about margin headwinds while wearing the same branded fleece. By the following week, staffing is so thin we're closing beds. Patients wait in PACU because there's no floor nurse to take them. The hospital tries offering a stay stipend paid in 6 months if you don't leave. Nobody trusts them. Over 14 days, 61 nurses and techs quit. My sister took a contract 2 hours away and paid off her car. I left a month later. The hospital now runs billboards about hiring compassionate caregivers. Should have started with compassionate bonuses. Story 3. I was an environment artist at a mid-sized game studio that made 1 surprise hit. Leadership hyped profit share all fall while we crunched weekends. On the bonus day, they packed us on Zoom. The CEO, framed by his neon sign, thanks us and unveils something more meaningful than cash, a founder's crate. Physical swag, in-game cosmetics no one else can get, and a founder's coin tied to future ecosystem value. Chat explodes. So, NFTs? He says not exactly, but won't say what it is. QA asks if rent can be paid in ecosystem value. No answer. Then the kicker. Anyone discussing the bonus publicly would jeopardize the program. A senior animator posts a Slack thread titled, "We do not live in your fantasy economy." By lunch, 5 QA leads and 3 tools engineers submit resignations. Recruiters smell blood. My inbox lights up. A competing studio offers me 15% more and a real cash bonus. The studio scrambles, swaps to a cash opt-in worth about half a paycheck, but only if you sign a new IP assignment. Artists call it a ransom. By Friday, the environment team is down 40%. We can't hit milestones. The producer starts rewriting the roadmap, then he quits too. Our founder's crates arrive a week later. A hoodie, a challenge coin, a vinyl sticker. Mine's still in the box, next to a friend's farewell card. The game eventually launched with fewer biomes than promised. Turns out you can't ship content with vibes. Story 4. At my engineering consultancy, bonuses were formulaic. Utilization over 75%. Projects under budget. Some client feedback points. We paced our year to it. On January 4th, partners announce a standardization after bringing in a PE investor. Utilization target is retroactively 90%, and non-billable time like mentoring and proposal writing won't count. That instantly nukes everyone's bonus math. They present it like we're just better aligning incentives. A PM opens a spreadsheet during the meeting and shows how, with the new math, even the rainmakers miss by a hair. The conference room gets that hot, embarrassed feel. Whispers start that a rival firm across town will honor your current title and pay out a sign-on equal to your lost bonus. A senior structural guy walks into the partner's office, puts down his timesheets, and says, "You're clawing from the only people who make billables possible." By the end of the week, the geotech team is down to 2, hydraulics loses its only PE, who can stamp in 3 states, and our CAD group is a ghost town. The partners send a clarification that they'll create a discretionary pool for exceptional contributors. No numbers, no dates. Too late. Clients start emailing me directly asking who will run their bridge rehab now. I gave 2 weeks, moved to the rival, and watched from across the street as our old firm outsourced drafting to a vendor who couldn't follow state standards. Retroactive goals retroactively erased loyalty. Story 5. I was a field operations manager for a restaurant franchise group. Our bonus had always been tied to food cost, labor, and mystery shop scores. Boring but fair. New ownership comes in, the hospitality private equity kind, and rebrands the bonus as the experience dividend. Sounds fancy. In December, they leak that top performers will get an all-inclusive team trip instead of cash. January rolls around. The trip is 3 weekdays in Cancun, but PTO required, airfare capped, taxes not covered, and you can't bring a guest unless you pay. Also, it's in hurricane season to optimize rates. I ask what hourly shift leads get if they can't leave kids. We'll send them a gift basket. One of my best GMs compares the published trip value to what taxes would be and realizes he'll owe hundreds for a vacation he doesn't want. He passes. Others follow. The investors double down, calling it culture building. Meanwhile, a competitor across town quietly offers a $1,200 cash bonus and a 90-day retention kicker. 4 of my 7 GMs quit within 2 weeks, taking their kitchen managers. Stores miss prep, weekend lines get insane, guest scores tank, and suddenly the experience dividend gets a cash alternative for next year. The COO asks me to rally the troops. I told him troops aren't rallied by invoices. I left for a hotel group that pays boring money on boring Fridays. Best culture move I ever made. Story 6. I was an AE at a B2 BSAS, where the year-end bonus usually smoothed out the feast or famine of commissions. At Virtual SKO, the CFO announces comp simplification. Accelerators won't kick in until collections clear 90 days. Spiffs become recognition points. And, here's the brick, our year-end cash bonus is replaced with a President's Club wallet redeemable for branded luggage and espresso machines. Also, a retroactive true-up converts December's accelerators into a recoverable draw because 2 renewals slip, chat blows up. The top rep asks if they're clawing back rent money we already paid. Finance says it will net out from future pay. Sales ops posts a spreadsheet. For most of us, Q4 equals 2 pay periods at minimum draw. Then legal drops a doc reminding us of non-solicits extending to prospects. You could feel the air leave the room. A rival had been circling. One SDR makes a Google sheet titled Escape Pods, listing recruiters and which logos each AE owns. By Tuesday, 4 enterprise AEs book dentist appointments and come back with offers, 15% base increase, real cash bonus. Wednesday morning, 9 resignation emails hit within an hour, CCing HR so nobody can be isolated. Leadership schedules a listening session. The CRO does damage control and offers a one-time $1,000 transition stipend if we sign a 6-month retention addendum. Laughter. Someone pastes a link to a court case showing our state nuked non-competes. Legal quietly edits the policy wiki. By Friday, 2/3 of enterprise, half of mid-market, and the only sales engineer who could demo SSO are gone. January pipeline slips to TBD. Renewals fall to customer success, already cut. The company spins it as a strategic refocus. We just called it what it was. A clearance sale on talent, triggered by a bonus that turned into a catalog. Story 7. I worked at a charter school network where money was always for the kids, but somehow admin found funds for a rebrand and lobby mural. They teased a year-end gratitude bonus after we worked through staffing holes, lunch duty, and Saturday test boot camps. December arrives. The bonus is a raffle. Tickets based on attendance. Prizes include an iPad, a weekend getaway voucher, blackout dates, Sonic's most weekends, and a tote bag stuffed with campus swag. To claim tickets, you must attend a mandatory after-hours celebration and film a thank you clip for donors. Paras who juggle second jobs can't make it. A math teacher raises her hand. Can we just get cash? Rents due. The principal says cash would send the wrong message to stakeholders. Room goes Arctic. Across town, the district posts mid-year openings with a $5,000 hard-to-staff stipend and guaranteed planning periods. A few of us quietly visit their fair. Meanwhile, our raffle night ends with the COO's nephew winning the iPad. HR emails that public discussion of compensation could undermine culture. The English department drafts a joint resignation letter timed for the day after winter break so families can transfer in January without losing credits. 11 teachers and 9 paras deliver notices at 7:30 a.m. The hallway is all hugs and boxes. By week's end, SPED has one case manager for 60 kids. They bring in subs who can't log into the IEP system. Parents flood the office. Admin blames labor market volatility. We call it what it was, a lottery ticket where the only guaranteed prize was turnover. Story 8. At an auto parts plant, our year-end safety bonus, about $800 if we hit 0 lost time incidents, was the one thing management and floor agreed on. December 18th, a contractor slips on coolant near Press 3, sprains an ankle. EHS initially logs it as first aid. 2 weeks later, corporate reclassifies it as a recordable to maintain integrity. That nukes the entire safety bonus. Instead, they roll in a smoker and give us pulled pork sandwiches under a banner reading, "Safety is its own reward." People stare at the banner like it's a joke no one wants to explain. Someone asks why a contractor's injury counts against employees who didn't control the job site. A manager shrugs. Policy is policy. A union shop 20 minutes away has been whispering, plus $2.75 per hour, real safety incentives, actual Lotto training time. That afternoon, the tool room lead leaves mid-shift and doesn't come back. By Thursday, 4 die setters and both electricians with PLC experience turn in badges. Maintenance goes skeletal, machines start tripping, and no one wants to bypass guards to catch up. We miss a shipment to a Tier 1 OEM, incur a chargeback that dwarfs the scrapped bonuses. Corporate hosts a town hall. The VP says they're exploring a discretionary recognition pool for high performers who model safety values. Translation: a secret list and no numbers. Friday at lunch, a group walks across the parking lot to a waiting van from the union plant's HR. By the end of January, the stamping line runs with temps who don't know the difference between a limit switch and a light curtain. Safety did become its own reward for the place that paid it in cash. Story 9. Big Four Audit, Banking Vertical. We survived a year of restatements and surprise interim work, living on grocery store sushi and shared chargers. In October, partners promised the largest bonus pool in years. January calibrations arrive. The bell curve bites. Most seniors and staff get a meets 2 rating, which, small print, means 0 bonus. Raises barely match inflation. During the webcast, a partner thanks us for entrepreneurial spirit from a beach house Zoom background. HR sends a $200 prepaid card as spot recognition, which doesn't cover 1 week of Uber home from 2 a.m. field work. The rumor that one favored senior manager got a 5-figure check spreads like a rash. A boutique firm swoops in with a simple pitch. 20% raise, $5,000 busy season stipend, no travel outside the state, and protected Saturdays. Our associate group chat becomes a classifieds board. One by one, seniors cancel hotel blocks for Q1 inventory counts and send resignation emails timed for maximum coverage gaps. Within 2 weeks, our entire credit union team walks, including the only person who knows the loan loss model auditors actually use. Partners scramble, import people from insurance and tech to plug holes, they don't know the regs, and clients smell panic. By February, 3 clients signal they'll take their audit elsewhere. Leadership announces a retention award, vesting in 18 months if you stay through next busy season. The reaction is gallows humor, so a promise to maybe get paid for what we already did. People aren't leaving for beanbags and cold brew. They're leaving because a year-end bonus turned into a lesson about how little a year costs here. Exactly $200 on a plastic card. Story 10th, University Central IT. Our performance awards came from unspent travel funds and usually landed as a modest check in January. New VP arrives, obsessed with butts and seats metrics. The award becomes the Campus Experience Allowance, $900 taxable, but only if you badge in 3 days a week all semester. Remote employees, including a single mom who moved for cheaper rent, get nothing. Parking fees go up. The allowance can't be used on childcare, only campus services and dining. At the all-hands, someone asks if being on call at 2 a.m. counts toward the experience. VP smiles. The campus never sleeps. Half the engineers update LinkedIn. A healthcare system down the road posts fully remote roles with real year-end bonuses and paid on call. Our network lead quietly accepts. 2 developers follow. The registrar's office plans a new enrollment portal launch. We warn them we're down, people. Delay risk is high. Admin says, make it work. On Go Live, a misconfigured load balancer sends students into a 500 loop. The help desk queue explodes. The VP calls an emergency war room and asks where the platform owner is. Someone says, at her new job. They authorize emergency contractors at triple our salary rates, and suddenly the budget we didn't have materializes. By March, 12 of 35 engineers are gone. The VP sends a cheery email about returning vibrancy to campus. We reply by forwarding our offer letters. The allowance did build a culture, just not at the campus that paid for it. Story 11. I was a line mechanic on midnight shift at a legacy airline. Our year-end bonus had always been straight cash tied to A-check turnaround time and dispatch reliability. We crushed it. Few MELs, no FAA dings, and a spotless December. On January 5th, leadership rolls out the Travel Appreciation Award. 2 standby vouchers per employee and a framed thank you signed by the COO. Mechanics don't fly standby in January. We sleep. Worse, the vouchers exclude peak weekends and require paying taxes, chart fees up front. HR adds a receipt of award form with a liability waiver and a line about no expectation of future bonuses. Toolboxes go quiet. One avionics tech asks whether the company will cover our FAAIA renewal instead. Different budget, they say. By lunch, the rumor mill says a cargo carrier at the other side of the field is offering $3 an hour more, $1,200 tool allowance, and an actual $750 year-end check. A crew chief walks out to smoke, calls the recruiter, returns, and just starts cleaning his locker. Word spreads across bays. The APU specialist who can troubleshoot bleed air blindfolded emails his resignation at 2:03 a.m. The next night, our 777 goes MX over a nuisance sensor because nobody left is willing to sit on hold with maintenance control for an hour to argue the MEL. Dispatch delays ripple, gate agents get screamed at, and suddenly, leadership offers a retention stipend only if we sign a new arbitration clause. The sheet metal lead laughs and sends a photo of his offer letter from cargo. Over 2 weeks, we lose 19 licensed mechs. The airline calls it seasonal attrition. We called it, you tried to pay blue-collar people with airplane seats we can't sit in. Story 12. I was in pharma field sales, cardiology line. Our comp plan had a small but reliable year-end bonus tied to territory growth and formulary wins, money that got you through Q1 when clinics are half closed. New VP of Sales announces a compliance-forward redesign. The cash bonus becomes an access priority benefit, meaning you get earlier dibs on samples and speaker budgets if you're in the top quintile. Translation: your bonus buys you the tools you need to earn next year's bonus, and if you're bottom quintile, hello rural counties with one hospital, you get nothing and fall further behind. They also change crediting to adherence-adjusted refills, 120 days out, so December wins don't count until spring. In the kickoff meeting, someone asks, what are we supposed to pay rent with? The answer, strategic patience. The device reps smell blood. A hemodynamic startup offers me a 12% base bump, a real $5,000 year-end kicker, and a smaller patch. My podmate gets an offer the same day. We time our resignations so coverage gaps land right before a formulary review. No malice, just math. The RBD scrambles promises to revisit cash if we hit Q1 pilots. Too late. 5 out of 9 in our district resign in 10 days, including the clinical liaison who actually convinced cath lab nurses to trial our stuff. The company parachutes in floaters who don't know which cardiologists are old-school sample hawks and which want published outcomes. Scripts dip, a competitor slides into the formulary slot we fought for, and HQ later calls it macro headwinds. The headwind was trying to replace money with a priority line that opened to no one left to stand in it. Story 13. AmLaw 50, white-collar group. Bonuses were lockstep by class year, posted every January like clockwork. We pulled 6 12-week sprints on investigations that ate our holidays and our eyesight. Bonus day, the managing partner unveils an ownership mindset initiative. Our bonuses are being converted into mandatory capital contributions to our partnership track accounts. Illiquid, forfeitable if we leave before 5 years and not returned without board approval. Also, we'll get a paper interest credit at the firm's internal rate, not cash. The speech includes a line about skin in the game. An associate asks if student loan payments accept skin. Laughter that doesn't sound like laughter. By noon, the in-house recruiters are prowling. A fintech GC offers me 9 to 5-ish, 30% bonus actually paid in cash, and weekends that exist. 2 fourth years leap to U.S. Attorney's Office. Our best forensic accountant liaison sends a polite goodbye with a list of open matters that now have no one who knows the subpoena trees. Partners schedule career chats and dangle discretionary adjustments if we stay, but nothing hits payroll. One partner mutters that we're not team players. Another quietly admits the capital move was demanded by the bank. Within 3 weeks, 11 associates and 2 counsel resign, including the only Spanish-speaking senior on the FCPA matter in Latin America. The firm spins up a lateral campaign and bumps base for first years. What they won't say out loud, forcing people to buy into a promise is not a bonus. It's an exit fee with stationery. Story 14. I ran night dispatch at a refrigerated trucking company. Our year-end driver bonus came from clean DOT inspections and on-time delivery. New COO with a Silicon Valley resume installs a telematics algorithm that dings excess idle anywhere, anytime, even when you're parked in Fargo at -15 degrees Fahrenheit, keeping the bunk warm. December closes, and the bonus report shows half the fleet at zero payout for eco-non-compliance. Instead of cash, the company offers fuel credits, usable only at one truck stop chain, expiring in 60 days, non-transferable, not valid for DF or showers. Drivers look at me like I wrote it. One veteran slides his keys across the counter and says, "I'm not freezing for points." A regional hauler across the state line offers $1,500 cash bonus, real APUs, and a scheduler who understands winter. Word spreads on CB and in Facebook groups faster than I can build a weekend plan. 8 of our best owner ops bounce first, then company drivers with hazmat. Trailers start stacking on the yard like Tetris, reefers idling with no one to pull them. Grocery DCs slap us with fines for late appointments that exceed what we would have paid in bonuses. The COO calls a town hall, says the algorithm is non-negotiable, and boasts about our sustainability metrics. A driver asks if sustainability includes sustaining families. Silence. By month's end, we've lost 37 seats. We patch with day labor who don't know lumpers from lumper fees. I took a dispatch job at the competitor and slept a full night for the first time in a year. The irony, paying cash would have been cheaper than watching lettuce rot. Story 15. Municipal Water Utility. Operations. Our bonus wasn't fancy, just a winter hazard stipend paid in January if you covered holiday call-outs and kept breaks under control. This year, the City Council votes to convert it to public service days, 3 extra days off that can't be used during freeze advisories, planned outages, or the spring main replacement blitz. Translation: days you'll never get to take. Payroll posts the memo at 6 a.m. on shift change. The same morning, overtime is capped to show fiscal discipline. A crew leader asks if the council will come turn valves when a 24-inch main pops at midnight. Crickets. Private operators have been courting our licensed distribution folks for months. They send a recruiter with donuts and a one-page offer, $4 more an hour, cash year-end, boot allowance, and no residency requirement. 2 senior operators who know every stubborn gate valve between 3rd and Maple Hand in Badges that afternoon. When the first deep freeze hits, a brittle hydrant shears, pressure tumbles, and we're down to 1 certified operator to sign off on bacteriological sample plans. City Hall issues a boil notice that makes the evening news. The mayor blames unexpected staff departures. We watch it on a phone in the truck, hands still numb. A week later, council floats a retention premium, paid next fiscal year if budgets allow. The lab tech shakes her head and forwards her acceptance email to everyone. In 3 weeks, we lost 9 licensed people out of 22. The water still runs, but so did we. Toward places where a bonus means money, not a plaque and PTO you'll never take. Story 16. I supervised nights at a national call center that handled everything from pharmacy refills to airline rebookings. Year-end had always meant a modest cash bonus tied to adherence, QA above 92%, and AHT under target. Boring, predictable, life-saving in January. This time, corporate announced gamified gratitude. No cash, but a live stream where top performers would spin a digital wheel for prizes. Everyone else got Engage coins redeemable for company swag or breakroom snacks. Also, December's adherence would be recalculated using a new rule that counted mandatory coaching sessions as not ready. Reps who took extra calls to cover holidays watched their bonus evaporate because they clicked into a coaching room at 2 a.m. They held the event on a Saturday off the clock. The big winner got a Bluetooth speaker and a CEO shout-out. The rest of us got 600 Engage coins, about 3 granola bars, and a mug. In the chat, someone asked if the mug paid rent. HR posted a reminder about respectful discourse. Monday morning, a spreadsheet called Undersea quietly circulated with columns for skill, night day, and preferred industries. It was a lifeboat list. Remote-first startups had been courting our bilingual reps for months at plus $4 an hour and a real $500 year-end. One by one, strong agents took bathroom breaks and came back with interviews booked. By Wednesday, both Spanish overnight leads resigned, then the pharmacist liaison who knew the hold tree for 3 PBMs. Queues blew past 200. We were drowning in red. The director tried to dangle a retention bump, paid only if we hit January SLAs, which we were already missing, and required signing a non-disparagement tucked into the bonus form. People laughed and clicked decline. The sickest part, the savings from stiffing bonuses were obliterated by overtime for the few who stayed and the penalties from missed service levels. I left for a fintech's chat team where year-end showed up as numbers on a payslip, not a cartoon wheel with confetti. Story 17. I was a foreman for a mid-rise GC. Our crews lived for the production bonus, hit framing and MEP rough-in by Christmas, passed city inspections first time, and each journeyman got about a week's pay, cash. We bled out weekends to get there, hustled through rains, double-checked hold-downs so the inspector wouldn't bust us for strap placement. January 2nd, the PM and the owner roll up with folding chairs and a box of donuts. The bonus is now a quality alignment credit, a number on a spreadsheet that starts at $1,200 and gets clawed back for rework, schedule slippage, and tool wear. They've retroactively charged my crew for a rented rotary laser, excessive use, a lift we didn't request, and a painter's touch-ups we didn't sign off on. The spreadsheet lands at $0 for most of us. Instead of cash, we get $75 gift cards to the company's tool cage, owned by the same owner, where batteries cost $199. Carpenters stare at the floor. My best framer folds the donut box shut, sets it on the sawhorses, and says, "Hall's dispatch is open." He calls the Union Hall. They have a school project needing exactly his skill set, paying total package plus a real bonus. The certified rigger leaves next, and suddenly the crane day we scheduled is pointless because nobody qualified is left to hook. The owner tells me to hold the team together and offers a discretionary spot bonus if the next inspection passes no notes. The inspector flags a stair stringer for a minor notch, and the PM gleefully writes, "Rework, $350" into the alignment credit. It's theater. Within 10 days, 5 journeymen and 3 apprentices are gone. We miss a concrete pour. The schedule slips. Liquidated damages start ticking. The cash they saved evaporates into rental extensions and standing time. 2 months later, I'm driving past the site with a new company's hard hat, watching them try to lure back the rigger with a promise that next year will be different. It won't. Nothing says we value craftsmanship like charging people for the tools they already paid for with their hands. Story 18. Digital Newsroom, Metro Daily. We lived on caffeine and breaking alerts, and the year-end bonus, small but real, kept people through the grind. The publisher called a town hall to unveil the creator economy pivot. Cash bonuses were out. Instead, we'd receive engagement units tied to page views and subscriptions attributed to our bylines. The rate card looked generous until you realized algorithm changes and homepage slots were controlled by the same execs setting the targets. Investigative, labor-intensive pieces, our pride, earned pennies compared to listicles that fed the widget farm. Also, the units vested quarterly and could be recalibrated to market conditions. Translation: funny money with an eraser. An editor asked if CopyDesk gets units. Management said indirect contributors would share a pool if their department met a stretch goal that had never been met. Someone posted the SEC filing showing our parent company just gave C-suite retention cash. Morale cratered. A nonprofit newsroom offered 2 of our investigative reporters real salaries, a $2,500 year-end, and legal support. They left, followed by our only courts reporter who could decode docket hell at 9 p.m. We lost the person who ran the election results scraper. On a Monday, the homepage went weirdly empty around lunchtime because the scheduler, who used to receive a flat cash bonus for never missing a rotation, had quit without a replacement. The publisher scrambled, offering a floor on engagement units for mission-critical beats, but only if you signed a rights waiver letting them repurpose your work for branded content. The union filed a grievance. Management sent a smiling memo about alignment. Subscribers noticed the drop in quality immediately. Cancellations spiked after a botched push alert called the wrong winner in a school board race. By spring, the masthead was a game of musical chairs, and the chairs were stacked on a flatbed headed down the street to outlets that still paid money for journalism. Turns out, our audience valued trust. Our bosses valued tokens. Story 19. Corporate veterinary chain, 3 clinics in our region. The year destroyed everyone. Staff shortages, back-to-back dentals, clients crying in rooms that smelled faintly of chlorhexidine and sorrow. Historically, the year-end bonus was a straight $600 to $1,000 for full-time techs and CSRs, a nod that compassion has a cost. This time, HQ sent a glossy email. Compassion Dividend 2.0. No cash. Instead, free enrollment in the company's premium pet wellness plan for 1 pet, plus a mindfulness app and bereavement training. Part-timers got a branded scrub top. Also, mandatory arbitration added to the acknowledgement click-through. A tech with 2 kids and a geriatric cat asked if she could trade the plan for cash. "We're not doing that this cycle," the manager said, eyes apologetic. The schedule for January was already thin. ER kept calling to offload cases. We were triaging pancreatitis in the lobby. A privately owned clinic across town offered $3 an hour more, a genuine $1,000 year-end, and no quota on probiotic sales. 2 of our surgery techs left within days. Anesthesia cases canceled because the only person comfortable with brachycephalic airways was gone. Doctors started bagging their own patients between room turnarounds. HQ responded by offering a retention recognition, payable in 6 months if turnover stabilized and clinic metrics improved. The goalposts were set on a planet with different gravity. Clients noticed appointments pushed out 3 weeks, then 6. Someone posted the bonus email in a vet tech Facebook group. The comments were pure napalm. Within 3 weeks, 9 staff across the 3 clinics resigned. Techs, CSRs, the pharmacy wizard who knew which compounding pharmacy would rush a Sotalol refill. The regional director visited with cupcakes and a talk about hearts for healing. We handed in keys. My new clinic still has hard days, but when the year ends, the deposit on my bank app reads bonus, not "we love your dog, here's a discount." Story 20. Wind turbine maintenance, Great Plains. We lived in harnesses and heli drops, swapping gearboxes at 280 feet while our faces froze. The year-end bonus, modest, was danger pay wrapped in paperwork. Corporate rebranded it the Impact Award. Certificates for carbon offsets equal to your personal footprint, digital badges for intranet profiles, and a promise of priority on future training slots. Per diem was quietly trimmed. Travel days no longer counted. The offset certificates arrived via email with stock photos of forests. In the same week, they announced we'd be trialing single-tech climbs for agility, meaning fewer pairs on towers. A field lead asked if offsets could be converted to cash to replace the climbing gloves he wore through. Finance replied with a FAQ about planetary stewardship. Word reached an oil field services outfit pivoting into wind. They offered $5,000 sign-on, real bonus, and crews of 4 for heavy lifts. The blade repair specialist left first, then the only tech certified on our trickiest yaw system. Suddenly, we were rolling a crew without the guy who could safely rig a hub. Outages stretched, availability metrics fell. A site owner invoked penalties that ate an order of magnitude more than the bonuses they skipped. HQ tried to stop the bleeding with a mission stipend paid at year-end if you stayed through Q3 and posted 3 sustainability stories on the company intranet. I wish I were kidding. Guys started snapping photos of prairie sunsets and laughing grimly. We lost 7 techs in a month. The new hires were brave but green. I watched one put a Torque wrench on backwards and nearly cry from frustration. I took the oil field offer. The irony isn't lost on me. The greener job paid me in certificates. The dirty job paid in dollars and safe staffing. Turbines don't care about certificates. They care that the person on the ladder can afford to come back tomorrow. Story 21. I was an assistant manager at a high-volume grocery chain where the year-end bonus kept people through the winter slowdowns. It was simple. Shrink under target, mystery shop above 90, overtime in control, and your check hit the second week of January. This year, HQ rolled out Associate Appreciation Season. The cash became an experience package, a limited-time 7% employee discount, blackout on meat, diapers, and pharmacy, a box with a paper hat and a sticker chart for acts of kindness, and entry into a sweepstakes for a compact car wrapped in company logos. We had to film gratitude clips for corporate social to activate our entries. The car raffle replaced the entire bonus pool. You could feel 18 people deflate at once. Night crew did the math. Their experience was worth maybe $40, not the $600 to $900 they counted on. A cashier asked if the discount applied to EBT purchases. No. A produce clerk asked if breakage credits counted against shrink. Yes. And our best seafood lead learned his department was excluded from the mystery shop that would have put him over the top anyway. Meanwhile, a warehouse club a mile away offered $2 an hour more and a guaranteed $500 winter kicker. I watched 2 front-end supervisors in matching red vests walk in, whisper with the club manager, and come back with interview times. By Friday, Bakery lost the only overnight who could proof and load 2 racks without burning croissants. Pharmacy techs started comparing notes. 3 left together after a shift where we had to shut the window at 6 p.m. because no one was certified to handle controlled transfers. We begged the district for help. They sent us an engagement coach who taught us how to applaud moments that matter. Sunday morning, we had 5 registers open and lines to frozen. Loss prevention pulled me aside and said shrink was spiking because aisles were unmanned. No kidding. Over 2 weeks, 15 people resigned, including our rock-solid dairy clerk who never once missed a truck. The car raffle winner? Some corporate intern in another region. I took the club job and the boring $500 that bought actual groceries. Story 22. I drove city buses, split shifts, snow chains, and passengers who knew your name. Through the pandemic, we got a temporary hazard bonus. Then year-end was supposed to land as a safety payout if we stayed incident-free. January hits and the agency swaps the cash for a safety miles recognition. You get enamel pins for every 10,000 miles without an at-fault, and your name goes in a quarterly raffle for a commuter bike. Also, schedule picks were modernized using an algorithm that gave overtime to the least senior first for equity. Translation: veterans saw their best work blocks chopped and their take-home sliced while the bonus turned into jewelry for our jackets. Operators stopped smiling. The radio started filling with 10-6 off-route calls because recovery time between runs had vanished. A private charter company that does sports teams and conferences set up a table at a diner we all hit between shifts. Newer coaches, $1,000 sign-on, time and a half after 8 hours, guaranteed weekends off every other week. The table stayed busy. 3 of us went to the restroom and came back with applications. Within 10 days, 3 senior trainers and 7 full operators were gone. Dispatch begged maintenance to certify shop guys for road duty. That lasted 1 day, 2 missed pullouts, and a near miss on a tight left. Service planners cut frequency on 2 lines, which lit up local news. Management offered a retention award, paid next fiscal year, if we stayed through a probationary attendance program that would reset if you caught the flu. We laughed, hoisted our raffle pins, and handed in uniforms. I'm driving a charter coach now that starts when it says it starts ends before midnight and pays the bonus in cash, not enamel. Story 23. Clean room tech at a semiconductor fab, D shift. Our year-end used to be a predictable check tied to yield and tool uptime. We'd baby those stepper lenses like heirlooms, run PMs on Christmas Eve, and accept the chlorine smell as our signature cologne. This year, corporate aligned with industry norms. Cash converted to RSUs that vest over 4 years to promote ownership. On paper, generous. In practice, the vest cliff meant anyone with student loans or daycare got nothing now. They added glossy, zero-defects champion certificates and a pizza night. In bunny suits. Also, December overtime got reclassified as training, so it didn't count toward the productivity metric that triggered the old bonus. A senior litho engineer asked if he could swap RSUs for tool stipend. There's a specialty torque wrench we all end up buying ourselves. Finance said no. Legal reminded us the insider trading policy meant we couldn't sell RSUs anyway near blackout periods, almost always. At 3 a.m., a handler whispered that a competitor 2 exits down was offering a $3,000 sign-on, $1,000 cash year-end, and double teams on climbs so no one did single-tech lifts. By the next week, the etch guru and the only person who could coax our crankiest track to hold temp both resigned. We limped along. A tiny photoresist contamination that the old hands would have caught early, snuck through and torched yield on a critical layer. The savings from owner mindset evaporated in scrap wafers and missed lots. Management offered a retention performance equity grant that vests after 2 product nodes we haven't qualified. People rolled their eyes inside face shields. 8 techs and 2 process engineers vanished in 3 weeks. I left for the competitor, where the safety brief is boring, the bonus is a line on a pay stub, and nobody pretends paper stock makes your kids' daycare take IOUs. Story 24. Account lead at a boutique marketing agency. Our year-end bonus had been a blend of utilization and client satisfaction, nothing flashy, but it bought plane tickets home. New partners arrived talking brand of brands. They replaced cash with a visibility package, guaranteed speaker slots on webinars, a sizzle reel with your face, and comped passes to a big industry festival, travel, hotel, and time off not included. If you wanted cash, you could submit a case study royalty request, payable only if a case study you wrote generated inbound leads verified by sales. Meanwhile, sales owned all inbound definitions. The loop closed on our necks. January came with a calendar full of unpaid thought leadership. Our motion designer, the linchpin for every deck, asked if she could trade her festival pass for actual money to fix her laptop fan. "We don't do exchanges," HR said, handing her a branded hoodie. A fintech offered her 20% more and a real bonus. She left in a week. The producer who kept 3 clients from breaching scope followed her out the door to an in-house role with no timesheets. We tried to backfill with freelancers. Procurement took 12 days to process the first SOW, while a global client waited for a launch video. They fired us. The partners panicked, promised impact bonuses if the quarter recovered, then added a clause, only paid if you posted 2 LinkedIn think pieces per month. The copy team laughed and posted screenshots of rent. Over 4 weeks, half our creative brain trust resigned. Animator, UX writer, 2 editors, and the social strategist who knew why one platform despises certain link formats. The partners ended up buying a shiny booth at that festival staffed by no one who understood the work. I spent the week not at the festival, starting at an in-house job whose bonus hits the same day every year. No public speaking required.